to Invest Insights. I'm Abby Maloney. I'm joined today by Heath Campbell, the Executive Vice President and President of the Charlotte Metrolina Region for Truist. Thank you, Heath, for being here today.
Thank you, Abby. I'm so proud to be a part of it. Thank you for considering Truist. It's an exciting time to be here in Charlotte, and we're so proud to be part of a culture that exists and be part of the very fabric of what we want to be.
Well, let's dive in. Truist has employed a community banking model which features 24 regional presidents and allows for local decision-making. How does this differ from the structure of most national banks? And how has this platform allowed Truist to continue to rise as a powerful leader in the banking industry and remain a community partner?
Thank you, Abby, for that question. I don't think you have to look beyond our new logo and our new name to really get the answer for why we put these two organizations together. It was to build an intentional and distinctly different organization that started with a client and worked our way backwards for every decision that we make. We believe that you now have brought together the best-in-class investment bank and delivered locally through the best-in-class community bank. And right at that inflection point where those two meet, you're going to find our client. We think that we needed the new technology to make sure that we could deliver the services that our consumers are demanding in the future. But we also knew you could not abandon the very essence of financial services when engaging in clients, which is centered around trust. To me, that is why we formulated the community bank. While I'm proud to serve our headquartered region in the Charlotte Metrolina region, we're now one of the largest financial services company. We believe that we have 21 headquartered regions with 20 of my peers working throughout the Southeast and Mid-Atlantic. We think by the design of earning trust, specialization delivered locally, you're going to find that our clients are included in every decision and action that we make. We think that's worth formulating what is now one of the top financial services company in the United States.
Excellent. There are quite a few new developments receiving the spotlight when it comes to the financial landscape, but it seems the big one for many people is the practical application and use for technologies like cryptocurrencies or NFTs. From where you stand, what do you consider some of the most important and innovative ways in which these technologies are going to change the financial landscape as they become more mainstream?
Abby, that's a great question. Certainly a topical conversation, whether it's on the TV, on the radio, or even at home. I will tell you, as a personal investor, I've been wrong for a long time. When I think about the impact that cryptocurrencies has on our economy and the financial services system, and when I think about how Truist is deploying this information or absorbing this information to make long-term strategic decisions, we believe it best, very similar to the workspace environment, not to make short-term decisions in the midst of long-term change that's unfolding right before us. But I would say the role of the central banks, that what that looks like for cryptocurrencies, we've already watched the third largest central bank ban cryptocurrencies, and there's already been an additional 10 countries to follow. I think that's because the role of the central banks is to make sure you have the most consistent economic output and optimize economic output domestically wherever those specifically serve. So we don't want to make decisions, but we're investing, engaging experts to have a better understanding of crypto has specifically in the United States and perhaps globally. But what we do know is the impact that blockchain, the technology that drives cryptocurrencies, there's a tremendous amount of research that we poured into blockchain that we can see can have a tremendous amount of value for our consumers, but also as our organization. For example, there's over tens and tens of millions of transactions that happen daily inside of Truist. And if you expand it across all financial services, the applications to provide more timely and instant transactions for our consumers and businesses has endless applications and value. So we're really heavily investing in blockchain and really just taking a pause and doing research when it comes to crypto.
Given the uncertainties like with the Ukrainian-Russian war or nationally with the midterms in November, how impactful do you think the Fed's interest rate increases will be this year in terms of tempering inflation while still allowing for economic growth?
Well, Abby, we've seen accelerated economic expansion for over 10 years now in the United States. And we were actually looking at the recent trends prior to the invasion of Ukraine, looking more favorable. So supply chains were beginning to formulate again. Inventories were hopefully beginning to restore. Those trends really looked like we were going to get back to a normal So rising interest rates with some of those positive trends from the consumer and business landscape look more favorable. But since the invasion, it put some of the most client impacted pressures on inflation, which was focused on petroleum and focused on the commodities at the grocery stores. So because we anticipate aggressive moves from the central banks to rise interest rates, but we also think there could be some potential positive offsets. Right now, there's over $2 trillion of savings inside financial services and consumers today. We also know that businesses still haven't been able to fulfill all their inventory needs to meet the demand of our consumers. So when we put all this information together, we still have a cautiously optimistic outlook for the remainder of the year. We think it certainly will have an impact, but there's a lot of moving parts that I think will still have a positive outlook on the economy for the United States in 2022.
To round out our discussion, what role does creativity play in remaining competitive in today's landscape?
Abby, when I think about the digital age that we have found ourselves in, we don't have to look probably back beyond any more than 10 years, but the consumers' purchasing and buying patterns have changed forever. I think for all of us, I also believe in the American spirit, the innovation that comes out of the most difficult circumstances that we saw in the last 2 years with the healthcare pandemic and the innovation that comes with this. We think it's so critical to continue to reinvent ourselves and not just settle for where we are today, but what we want to be. You don't have to look beyond our new headquartered region and our new building at Truist Center in Charlotte to find that we thought it was so important. The 14th floor was designed to be our innovation center. If you're going to make change, making the correct change is critical to bring all the technology experts, like we talked about for blockchain, but also our clients into the heart of our organization, use their feedback, complemented by Truist teammates and our IT infrastructure team. We think not only is it necessary to change, it's how you make change. And I'll end how we started. A client-centric model does that. We want to start and end every decision with our client, how critical it is to accelerate change, but do it in the right way.
Well, thank you very much, Heath. I appreciate our discussion today.
Thank you, Abby.
That was Heath Campbell, the Executive Vice President and President of the Charlotte Metrolina Region for Truist. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to hear more CEOs and thought leaders share their opinions and advice on today's business climate. Until next time, I'm Abby Malone, and this has been Invest Insights. Thanks for tuning in.